Hi, everybody. Oh my goodness, I am tired. Oh, we are alive. We've had a long weekend. Let's see what we got going on here. We got a show we're gonna do tonight. I don't know if Nate's gonna be here. I haven't heard from him for a few days. I know he actually went and did a little bit more traveling, so I think he might actually be traveling right now. And so he's got if he does show up, he's got the StreamYard link. He'll pop up. I'm also watching Facebook Messenger where I communicate with him. So if he shows up, we'll have that. We do have the pictures ready to go. I might scroll through them real quick. We'll see. We got the dogs. We've got the dogs. We've got me. Oh my gosh, we've been in a market. You guys saw it yesterday. We did a little live stream. Had a little bit of technical difficulties. That's okay. It's kind of funny. We'll talk about it. Get on the couch. Get on the couch. Get on the couch. I don't. When did they stop staying on the couch for me? Anybody know that? All right, let's go ahead and get into the hellos in the chat. Um, I did see Lewis asked about he was a moderator, but doesn't see it now. I haven't messed with my moderators for a while, so I don't think if you weren't like a year ago, you probably haven't been. I just leave them be unless we need to change them with Paula, Kobe, Floss, everybody here for a while, and we don't have the same issues with some of the things we did when we had to set up all those moderators and such. So I just leave them be. Part of the reason for that also is that sometimes moderators, when you have that, accidentally kick people out, and then you got to explain it and all of that, and it's always a mistake. And so it's easier just to not touch it unless you need to. So hopefully that addresses that. Get up there, guys. All right, let's give them a treat real quick, then we'll get the hellos in. Wait, oh, she almost fell off the couch again. Good girls, good girls. All right. Now, Kobe says, first. Now, I do remember, I don't see it in my current stream here, so he probably didn't see this. I do believe, I don't think she's here. Lily, I think, got first in the house. I think she got it. When did I post this? I was preparing for this live early in the week because we had a very busy weekend with the market. So Nate got all the links, all the questions we were going to ask him, and got all the pictures set up if he does show up earlier in the week. And I think I posted the live officially on Friday, and I think she came in and saw it, and that probably just deleted. So we'll give Kobe second. There could have been somebody else I didn't see that got deleted as well because I did not have time to really watch it real closely, but that's okay. Unfortunately, now I see he actually, I think he came back. He was making money and then got tired or something. Scrolling. So then Floss is in here, and Floss knows all about the markets, the ups and downs. It was an interesting market. We can talk about it a little bit if Nate doesn't show up. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the cold weather. We'll talk about the holidays. We got Debbie in the house. Oh, I don't know. Is she back? She said she might come back if she can remember. I know we're a little bit later tonight. So that's okay. If people aren't here, that's okay. We set it up later. We actually, it's kind of a good thing. If Nate was here, we got home right around 6:30, and then getting everything in, getting the dogs fed. Of course, the dogs have had a long weekend as well. So yeah, we're kind of gonna do this live, and then tomorrow is gonna be my recuperation day. I'm gonna be working. Some exciting stuff on that too. We'll get into a little bit from what I can tell you guys. But yeah, I'm completely out of laundry. There's all sorts of stuff to kind of catch up on now because remember, I think Paula's done 5 or 6 weekends straight of these markets because of the holiday season. So this was the very last one. And of course, we had 3 days of traveling up to Regina, which is an hour and a half away. So you eat 3 hours each way plus the day of the market. Does kind of add up to a longer weekend. So yeah, we've got some catching up to do now. And now we can start decorating for Christmas and put up the Christmas tree because we still haven't done that. We did move the bird, so we have a spot now. But we still got all that to do. And I'm looking at the count. It's the 14th. So got a lot of the Christmas gifts and stuff ready. Because can't wait till last minute for that really. Let's see. We got Brandon in the house. How's it going, Brandon? I do have a video I need to send you for when you're on the live to show you how to use this StreamYard. But we do have that up. Remind me, you can email me, Brandon, to remind me to send you that link, and it'll just tell you what to expect because I don't think you've been on the live before. We got Lewis and Clark in the house. How's it going? Everybody's saying hi to Lubaka because of Rebecca. Mod did not get deleted. I don't think we ever had that set up. Scrolling. There is my exotic Canadian wife. As I told so many people at the market, they're like, really exotic? Actually, nobody questioned me on it, to be honest, when I said it. It's weird. Somehow it feels like I always want to tell people the story of how we met. When you're talking to other vendors and talking this and that, and where are you from, or I have to tell them, they tell me where they're from. I'm like, I'm from the States originally, so you got to explain a little bit more for me. I'm a geographic rookie up here in Canada, if you will. And then somehow it evolves to, oh, I met the most beautiful woman, my exotic Canadian wife down in the desert. Then I'm explaining Schoolypalooza and how she built an AMBO and how we almost didn't get to, neither of us almost didn't get to go because she couldn't get the AMBO started. I was broken down. I must have told that story at least 5 times this weekend at the market as we're talking to people. But anyways, oh, allergies still going, guys. Kyle, how's it going? Kyle, Ringo and Czar in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Scrolling. Kobe said he was 50th. He said he was first, which was second. Then he's saying 50. Where was 50th? Now he's 12 million. I don't know what Kobe is. How's it going, Kobe? Hope you're doing okay. Yeah, Kyle. Kyle, you saw it. So maybe Kyle was in here and got second. I didn't see that one, but I did see that Lily got first. Did you actually? It happens. Like seriously, people. That and it does cause drama. People's feelings get hurt because you have moderators that mean to click on something and not kick people out. I think I've accidentally kicked people out of other people's lives as well because you get clicking, and that's why you just don't add everybody. Or some channels add everybody as a moderator, and then you can't actually moderate if somebody does go crazy. Um, yeah. So the reasons that if DJ's around, we got to see DJ a little bit this week, and Paula's brother. I used to have him as a moderator just so my moderators couldn't kick him out because he sometimes said things that should have been moderated, but it's also kind of fun. So there's always that angle to it as well. Is the bracelet from the market? Yes, it is. And this was actually a little bit looser because the first one Paula put on me, man, she had it. My veins here were like popping out, and I was safe. But yeah, that is. I was not admitted to the hospital. That was our vendor wristband for getting in the market, in and out, and all of that. Good eye. How did the market go? Let me scroll back down real quick to make sure we got hellos in, and let's talk about the market first if you guys want to hear it. Hi, Debbie. We said hi. I don't know if you were in here yet. I did see your message up above. Thanks for being here. We got Marianne in the house, of course. Yes, Mr. Grinch at the market yesterday. She was the one in there. Oh my gosh, that just reminded me, Paula, we never went back and got the beet salsa. She asked me, was there anything else you wanted to get? And I told her about one that I thought about that I wasn't going to get that go back to the vendor. We could have gone and got that beet salsa. That was actually really good, guys. I don't know if Paula got to try it. You guys saw me try the hot one. We were actually thinking of going back. There was a three of the small ones for $20. It wasn't super great deal, but at these markets, these are small companies. They don't order in bulk, right? That would have actually been one worth going back to, and I completely forgot till I saw Marianne there. But that was awesome when we were going around live. Other than my technical difficulties, I figured out what I did too. But yeah, beet salsa, that was new to me, and it was actually delicious. It was delicious, and it did have a kick to it. It was interesting. It tasted like normal salsa, but a little citrusy at first. Excuse me. And then after a couple bites and letting it sink in, that's when the zing kicked in. And I like hot and spicy, and it was actually quite good. I would buy it, and we forgot, I guess. But yeah, Marianne was the one that saw the sign that said, go back there and figure out what beet salsa is. And that's the first time I've ever seen it, but oh, not here, but accidentally on Captain Jaxie's kick people out. All right. Scrolling. How did Paula like the chocolate? Okay, I was gonna say you're gonna have to ask Paula. There she is. Not particularly Kobe, but it's pretty generic. Yeah, I kind of thought the same thing, but I'm not the person that loves chocolate, so I'm the wrong person to ask. But it's interesting, a lot of these things at the markets, they're typically a little bit more expensive than you see in the store. But they're small companies. There might be trying something like Paula, trying candle. And do people actually want this? Card diffusers, candles, candle bouquets? You learn a lot. You learn a ton. It's fun. You also meet a lot of interesting people that are trying to start small businesses. Kobe does it. He goes out and tries to sell his photography and his books and that type of thing, right? The people are fascinating. They all have a story. And so when it is slow, you do end up talking to people and learning from them. We're also kind of blessed because some of the girls on the softball team, one in particular is the Baker. I think we've talked about her before, and you guys saw her on the live yesterday. It's also nice to have friends at the market, and they actually were like, "Yeah, can they be like near us?" And so we moved. They moved us over near them, and so we because they've always been across the other ones we've been at with them. They've always been somewhere else, right? So we say hi briefly, but they were actually across and went over, I think, this one. So that was nice. Plus, it's kind of like teamwork. Paula let them, they were going to have to pay, I think, 200 for power because they're bakers and they've got these cheesecakes that they need a fridge for. So they would have had to pay $200 for an outlet basically. But Paula told the other girl that basically, hey, I've got a power bank that I think that would work. They researched it. So Paula was able to make use of that power bank she lost last year, or not bought last year, not lost, and loaned it to them. We've got it back now. And at the same time, at the end, when we're cleaning up, I'm still useless. I helped a little, not much. They also are helping her carry things out. So her back's hurting. She's sweating, trying to carry all of it that I would normally help with. There was three of them. They were all packed up, so they helped her finish it off. So there's a nice symbiotic friendship, relationship, whatever you call it. It's nice to have those people that you start to know. So that's really cool. It's just like traveling, right? When you travel and you meet people on the road, like Kobe, for example, and you start bouncing ideas off, you start working together, right? And yeah, it's just awesome having that. So it's cool having that like that. Okay, let's go back to the question. Well, I started talking about it a little bit, right? Let's pull it up. Again, I'm watching for Nate. If Nate shows up, we will do that interview. Otherwise, we're just gonna hang out for a bit. There's plenty to talk about. Yeah. So we'll hang out for a while. A while. Not, I shouldn't say a little bit. I'll probably go an hour, even if he doesn't show up. And then if he's still up to it. He went on another adventure. I know he rented a Harley in Florida and he went somewhere. So I don't want to share too much, and I suspect that he won't be here. That's okay. I don't want to interrupt his. I did tell him we wanted to do it after he was back, and he's traveled the world, right? So it's kind of cool. Okay, how did the market go? So again, I'll talk about it from my perspective, because it's the last market of the year, so it's been interesting. Paula, I joke that she started a hobby that got out of control. It's not out of control. I actually enjoy doing it. I enjoy watching what she creates and all this stuff. Um, I'm trying to watch over here as well. Lions now have a 34% chance of making the playoffs. Chiefs are out. I did see also, briefly. I got home. I checked the scores. Right, 49ers won. Seattle won in a big game there. Rams won. Lions lost to Rams. All sorts of crazy stuff. And it was the later games today that most of that happened. But Mahomes hurt his ACL, and as much as I was cheering for the Chiefs not to make the playoffs, because, well, one, they beat the 49ers a couple times now. Uh, it sucks to see any player go down with that, but especially somebody like Patrick Mahomes. And I'm sure that sucks for him, to be an athlete at that level. And then that's a long injury, right? And the ACL at this point in the season, I don't even know if he gets to start at the beginning of next season. Again, haven't watched. I don't know how it happened. I've just saw one headline and I've seen box scores. That's it, guys. So, anyways, but the market, we have done quite a few markets now. Here's what we have found. So the one we have done a lot of small markets locally, and those typically go really well. It's exciting. You don't sell thousands and thousands of dollars or anything crazy, but you do well for the time commitment and the fees to get to the market, right? And then she's done two big markets. One was in Carlisle, and this one was up in the capital in Regina. There is a larger sum, and you're risking it to go do them. And I always told her early on, just take the risk. Let's see what happens. Why not? It's been interesting. The big markets, I don't know if our expectations were too high. Um, but when you look at the time commitment, especially when these big markets are further away and they're over a longer time and you have travel time and gas expense and all of that, she hasn't lost money. So it's not a big deal. We enjoy going out. We are worn out by the end of those weekends. Um, it's been an experience. But I think the ones that will pay off and be profitable are the ones that are close at home. And we were actually 10 minutes before I was talking to her real quick upstairs. And even at the local markets, she has started to you start seeing the repeat people come in. They the diffusers, for example, they come back, they like the smell in their car now. Or they've seen the bouquets before, they didn't buy it at first, but they had it in their back of their mind, Christmas time stuff. And she we had way too many bouquets and we have learned, or in her opinion, they're kind of hard to carry around and take and pack up, and then traveling, and they're kind of sensitive. I don't know if you'd ever be able to ship them that type of thing. But we started to think this weekend, like, oh wait, these are dwindling. Part of that was the local markets. People start you sell two, maybe four, up to four at a market, and they start dwindling because they are bigger and take up a little bit more space. But she's had people that have now contacted her on Instagram. Like I think it was last week, somebody contacted her and came to the house because they're local, and so she had to do a little bit of work, reorganizing them to their liking. But she didn't have to pay an entry fee or set up a market or go through any of that work. They came to the house. They knew what they wanted. She had to spend a little extra time, less than an hour, I want to say. And so doing the local markets, you're also doing that where there's a little bit of ongoing, continuous, I don't know, fan base. Does she have a fan base now? I think maybe a little. The big markets are fun. They're a little different. They're more crowded. You talk to different people. But this one in Regina, which is the capital, it's an hour and a half north of us. Once you actually get to the place that it was, by the time you consider gas and the time to get there, the time to set up, and the much higher cost, she made a little bit of money. But talking about whether it's worth it to do it again, probably not. I will obviously leave those decisions up to her. But this particular one is probably the one that we've been to that's like, well, was that really worth it? Would you do it again? I think she's probably leaning towards no. Had a good time. Uh, she's also heard feedback from other people local here that when they go up to Regina, they haven't had the success as if they stay local or more rural, even if they drive to other small towns. There is something about the small towns that like to support small businesses. You go up to these big towns, people can go to the mall, right? Even if, and Paula does, she keeps her prices. It's interesting talking to people. The people that know that go do the shopping, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, these prices are the best here." The other thing is, there were, I think, five or six other people, other vendors that had candles, and even though she had the, it, I don't know, I didn't go smell them all or anything like that, but I think she had the best ones, and they were by far the most affordable. But where we were at in this giant expo, there was, I think, 120, 140 vendors. They had probably seen five other or four others before they got to us. So now you've got more competition. I literally, we had one down the way, and we would watch people go smell their candles, buy candles, and I would be like, okay, they like candles. I'd watch for them to come. I'd try to get them in. Well, they've already bought them. You couldn't even get them in to come smell them and see the prices, right? Because they already had candles in their bag and they didn't want any more. So it's interesting. You would think the bigger markets, the bigger expos and whatnot is where you can make the money. You sell more, but if you actually start breaking down time and gas and all of that, I don't know if that's quite the case, that it's quite worth doing it. Now, it's also a side hustle slash hobby type thing. There are a couple things she has surprised me. I was on the drive home. I was like, I was telling Brandon, our friend with the bakers, their husband. I was like, yeah, there was a couple of things where she started doing this and she started making a couple of the products. I thought, ah, not a big deal. Like she's having fun, but I was skeptical on whether it was worth those particular products. I thought the candle bouquets would be like they're cool, and quite frankly, for the work she puts into those, she doesn't sell them for enough. But they just don't sell like some of the smaller products, right? So there are some of the smaller products that I kind of thought, whatever, that actually drive a lot of the people in to get them into the little tent or whatever table, whatever the different market setup is. But and there's actually some of them that's like, yeah, that is what you can actually profit off of. It's actually quite interesting. And She's the one that did the research, and she was right. She was absolutely right on that, on those couple things. The one that's really fun is the card diffusers, where people are tired of the little cardboard ones. Paula makes some very good card diffusers that last a long time. She sells them very cheap, quite frankly. In Regina, if you go to the mall, they sell them for $20. Now, that store is overpriced. Most of them are somewhere between $8 to $10 for the sizes that she sells, and she's selling them for 6. So it's interesting when people come in that know what they are and have seen them. We had one guy today, younger kid, who was trying to explain it a little bit, and that he said, "Yeah, I know," and I shut up. Like I don't need to sell this family. This guy will tell the other two that he's with, and he did, and they bought it. So the people that know the value once they see it. It's just a matter of, you got this entire convention hall getting them to see, look, these are good and they're the best price and all of that. So I don't know. I think she definitely has a future, particularly with those. The candles are great too. They just don't. I don't know. They just don't sell like you would think, especially the bouquets. But yeah, the Packers lost, but New England lost as well. I think Packers lost to the Broncos, right? So I think Broncos, are they the only two lost team now? Broncos almost lost to the Giants. I remember that game, and they had a miraculous comeback. And I don't know. I'm not sold on them yet, but the Broncos seem to have that taste for winning. They just know how to get there, right? And I haven't, other than the highlights, seen any of them, but no, no, Lewis, you didn't do anything wrong. I honestly, I honestly, I can tell you that I don't think we had you as a mod, because I don't think I've messed with the mods in a year, two, maybe three. When I set up my mods last was when I think there was all those Russian hackers. I don't even set my the details to the live stream the same way I used to, because we just don't have those issues anymore. YouTube has figured it out. So we don't need as many mods. I honestly, when I'm in my computer here, where I've got my other screen here, I can basically moderate it myself if I needed to. It's great to have moderators. It's only really when I'm walking around, like at the expo or at the market, that I would really need somebody else to jump in, because I can't do it on my phone. But oh, in that case, let's talk about the Packers because they lost. Yeah, I don't know. I think Detroit lost, Packers lost. Did Bears lose? I don't know. They'll lose in a couple weeks because they play the 49ers, right? Kobe says, absolutely applaud Paula for just doing it. I love getting to see the creative people putting their work into the world. And you know what? The people that buy those candle bouquets, they really appreciate them. They're not going to get it anywhere else. She sells them at a price that is ridiculously low for for the time it takes her to make them, and that you can't find them anywhere else. But at the same time, there are these things that people aren't, especially at these shows, they're not expecting to see that. So I don't know. Those are an interesting one, where it would be nice to partner with like a flower shop or something and let them have the place where they go to find them. I don't know, but they might think that it's cutting into their flower business or something. Who knows? But she's always coming up with something new. I don't know. I've shown all of you guys. I try. I don't do very good. I try to let her show you guys or talk about it. Paula says, yeah, she wouldn't do the Regina mark, this particular market, anyways. From what we've heard, Regina is harder at these shows. There's just more competition, and when we're at home, there is very much. First of all, she knows a lot of people because she's lived here for a while, but there's also, when you live in a small town, people really support the people that are doing it, like our friends that are bakers, and I know Paula. uh, there's another baker at another show that she's actually traded with, right? People want to support these people that are trying to make it happen, right? Even if they're never going to make, or I shouldn't say never make it big, they might. um they're just, it's the local economy. And when you're kind of in a midtown, even, you don't get that. When you're in a small, very, pretty much isolated town, people very much will shop locally if they can. Like me in the fence. I I tried very hard to hire somebody local. And I did find the guy that his parents lived around the corner, right? But if I didn't find him, I was worried that I was going to have to go find somebody from Regina. They weren't going to be care as much. They're going to come down. They're probably build it real quick. Who cares? You never get customer service. But the people in town, in these small towns, um, and I say small town, there are tiny, tiny towns. But to most people in the U.S. that live in big cities, this is a small town. Like if you had asked me when I was growing up, this is a small town. You drive through, yeah, there's more than one restaurant. Um, there are smaller towns, but it to most people it is a very small town. Um, yeah, it's a guessing game sometimes and a crapshoot. And sometimes, both of the big markets that we did this year were on weekends that had something where you wonder if it contributed to the what you was lower than expectations, right? So when she went to Carlisle, there was a huge storm. We had a hard time getting there. But if we weren't a vendor, we would have been like, no, 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 thank you. And that was an hour plus away. And the argument everyone's like, oh, the farmers aren't in the fields, right? They can't go in the fields, so they're coming to this. Well, that one people would actually travel to. So if they had planned to go through it, they might have gone through the storm. But that especially the first day, there was a terrible storm. And even the second day, people were pumping their basements. So even if they were local, they might not come because of that. They're worried about their house before they're worried about going to a market and buying candles, right? So the first one was very much framed that way. This one, it was cold. It was cold. It was the first very cold snap of the year. It was getting to like -40 wind chill, kind of where Celsius meets Fahrenheit type of stuff. We're driving up there, and of course, I'm not a lot of help still with the hernia. Another 2 days, day and a half, if you will. Uh, I'm holding the door for people and I don't got gloves. In about 5 seconds of holding that door, I'm like, I don't want to hold this door much longer because my hand's that cold. And Paula's doing the hand cart in and out without gloves. We probably should have had gloves. Uh, but it was so cold. Friday was the setup day, and then yesterday was extremely cold. Same level of cold, right? And I don't know if I showed you guys the weather last week, but yeah, it was cold. Yesterday's high was lower than today's low. Like at midnight was today's low. So we all thought, oh, tomorrow will be better. Well, not really. There were people that came in later. A lot of them were kind of walking around. They weren't necessarily there to buy. And even getting them in was kind of hard. They kind of wanted to walk by and kind of like, yep, yep. But it's also hard to say, when you've got 120 vendors, you can't go into everyone. And yes, they pay $5 to get in, but that is $5 Canadian for $3 or $4 American. You're not. I mean, that's something to do, right? That's pretty minuscule. Go in. You're really there to walk around. If you see something you want, type of stuff. They're not committed buyers, if you will. I don't know. Yeah, but going up to Regina is a little bit trickier market, and so I don't know if she doesn't want to go to Regina or just that particular one. The other thing is on this one, you would think that was the other thing. It's like it's a bigger market and it's right near Christmas. That's where the expectations came. That it's got to be good, right? Um, and if it's not good, then you say, okay, now we're dealing with increased costs of just getting there and getting a spot, extra time to travel, extra gas. And now you're into December where like Carlisle, if it goes bad, okay, fine. Yes, there was a bad weather weekend, but it wasn't snow, it wasn't ice, it wasn't freezing. So doing it in December gets a little trickier too, and a little bit more of a risk. So I see Plus saying we had a high of 1 today in Wisconsin. That was our low today. That was at midnight, but it was -40 yesterday, the last 2 days with with the wind chill. I think it was like -20 in my car when we were driving. So, and that's Fahrenheit. Let's do some comments real quick. Let's see here. Don't jinx it. They hit Gina on a pop-up the other day. Oh, I hadn't heard about that. Well, okay, I'm assuming the hackers or the commenters or whatever. I'm gonna look over here. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're still okay. Hey, I see Steve on the live one. I should be watching that a little closer. I see Steve in there. How's it going, Steve? Steve was also in there yesterday. I saw doing that pop up myself, which oh my goodness, they on those pop ups, it's like a little comment in the left hand corner. It's very hard to read the comments, so it's a completely different dynamic versus oh, there he is. I got to that the point where he's coming in. Scrolling. Let's try to catch up here a little bit as I talk. Kobe says being a local artist seems to make a big difference in my opinion too. Yeah, local community wants to support you. They want to see you do well. They will spend a little extra money. The other thing is, our friends that were the bakers, it's crazy. I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to share their numbers that they share with us, but they have a huge commitment. Like with Paula, she needs to, at a minimum, not to lose money. Get on the couch. Let's give you a treat. One second, guys. Let's get the dogs a treat. They must have heard Steve come in and expect a treat. I don't know. Get up here, guys. I don't know what they're doing on my lap. Of course, they've had a long weekend too, so we'll treat them good. Good girls. Good girls. Yeah. Now I forget what I was saying. But our friend that's the baker who went to school for baking, and so Paula needs to sell a fair amount at these big ones to pay for the spot itself. Plus, you consider the margin and the cost of the inputs and all of that. Hey Tracy and Christian, I see Tracy and Christian popping in now. Tracy and Christian, I know they're down in Mexico. They are working on hours again because I think they got demonetized. I think they said in one of them. So if you guys know Tracy and Christian at Tumbleweed RV Life coming in, go watch some of their videos, guys. I was watching one recently about they're going down to a beach in Mexico. Some of our good friends who actually live in Regina, but they're down in Mexico, right? But yeah, I think that they're you guys are selling your property down on the Gulf too, right? I think I remember that. Right, you guys calm down. The dogs are a little bit crazy. We have left them for 3 days. They've had some long days, so forgive them for being a little bit amped up right now. All right. They're like, okay. I can't pet you the whole time. Kobe says, when I traveled in the UP, even I do worse. When I stay local, I did better. Yeah. The weird thing with that is if you what? Get on the couch. Go on. Dallas is being very demanding. She's like, you have left me 3 days in a row for long days. And she, what? Did you need out? 1 second. I'll see if they want out. I don't think she actually wants out. I think she just wants more food. Yeah, she's still in my lap. Okay, either way. Wish you the best of luck trying to keep him out of trouble in 2 days. Yeah. I'm relatively well behaved. Record high in Havasu. So as Steve says, you're getting tired of scooping all that sunshine, right? I love that line. Oh, there he is. Yeah, I'm getting borderline hot. Do I need to accidentally ban someone just say the word? Well, that wouldn't be accidentally if I say the word, Colby. Oh my goodness. Yeah, when Tracy and Christian get back, we're gonna have to make a point of making sure we get up there to say hi to them next year. And now I just lost a dog. That's okay. Scrolling. A lot of people saying hi. Your back is killing. My back's killing me, and I shouldn't complain. My back's hurt. I going. Oh, what is going on back here? What? Going all the way down to Texas for the trailer. I was worried about my back. 15-hour, 16-hour drive days sometimes, and my back held up. I was getting all excited. Like my back is doing better than it has in a long time. This weekend, it's like, oh, my back. And of course, now Paula's hauling everything in and out. She's like, oh, my back. we're both we're having an interesting weekend with our backs. All right, you guys go lay down. What's going on? You want the show? I'd pick you up and put you on the show, but I don't know what she wants. I know you've been fed, you've been out. You can go outside if you want. I don't know. Anyways. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Okay, let's talk about this live yesterday. So the last hour, it's weird. It wasn't really dead for like multiple hours, like some of these markets, like especially at the end of the day. So I was like, okay, we got it's slow. Paula can easily man the booth by herself. She's getting a customer maybe every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. So I'm gonna go do a live, work on hours a little bit to make sure. Because when I heard Christian and Tracy got demonetized, I was like, I better work on my hours a little bit. I pop it up. Of course, I'm wearing the Grinch outfit. Paula was dressed. I don't know. Is that an elf costume where she's got her Santa hat and her green little skirt, whatever? So we're dressed up. Nobody else is. So I thought it was a thing, and no, we're the only ones dressed up having fun with it. We're also the only weird YouTubers that go online and talk about our lives all the time. But uh, yeah, we walked around. You guys saw Amy, DJ's brother, sister-in-law. She was there with her company. Where she works, they do like the wedding rentals and whatnot. So they were down the road from us. You guys got to see her. We walked around. We saw beat salsa. People actually were willing to talk and say hi and explain what their product was. So what I figured out happened, I did eventually see Kobe say no audio, but it was kind of too late. I think there was only 4 people left in there at that time. It was up to the stats will say it went up to 30 at one point, which I missed. I saw up to 13. People were having fun watching. I was dressed as a crazy Grinch. And when I went to turn after the chocolate, I was handed the chocolate and I went to turn the camera back. The flip your screen and the mute button is right next to each other. So I must have hit both at once. And so then you guys couldn't hear me. Then I go talk to this soy sauce guy, and he was great. He was willing to talk and went over to the cutting boards and showed you the beautiful cutting boards. And then the girls that Paula had just sold rings to came over. If you guys were there, at that point, you guys probably had left because you were like, Nate's not going to realize nobody can hear me. Anyways, Paula had sent them over to go find my husband. He's doing a live stream. I guess they were vendors somewhere else in the building too. But she sells these $2 rings, and a lot of people come in, and $2 for you got to find one that fits you that you actually like. So that's where it's not perfect because I wish we could like put them in order of sizes, but the sizes that when they buy them aren't even quite right. So it's like just you got to try them on. But anyways, they bought like 3 or 4 each, and they come over and they're showing me they all 3 of them hold out their hands and all the rings they bought, and there was no audio. We were having fun on it. No audio. Nate screwed it up. Um, YouTube, I went and looked this morning. YouTube cut it off, I think, a minute after I cut the audio, even though I'd gone 4 minutes more. So you guys can't even go see that part now because it was cut off somehow. I don't know how that works, but oh, I was frozen. Okay. Well, either way, we gave it a go. We had fun, I think, for 10 minutes. You guys got to walk around and do it. I got to kill, it helps get through that last hour where it slows down a little bit. We get to talk to some other people, and yeah. Yes, we missed the soy sauce audio. Yeah, he was good too when we were having fun because he's telling me about this low sodium soy sauce, and I go, "Isn't that an oxymoron?" And they kind of look at me like, "What'd you call me?" Things that don't go together. Yeah, they had a lineup when I saw them earlier in the day. They were from Vancouver, so you're talking very west coast to the middle. So there's a lot of vendors that really traveled to this market. And Paula was telling me they asked for vendors that have some sort of following because you draw more people in. If you get 120 vendors and you've all got a following and then you get everybody in, right? So she was telling me how they ask for your socials and stuff. So her social is basically Instagram that she took from Van Vita Travels, and now it's Spark and Stone Studio. So it's got over 1,000 people. So that probably helped her get her spot as a new person doing this, right? I never thought about that aspect of just getting into a spot, getting into the spots at these things that Paula has gotten into is actually incredible. It's not necessarily easy to do. The only one that she wasn't allowed into this year was a local one, a local arts one. 1 second. And it's because there were 2 other candle vendors, and after this weekend where there's 6 candle vendors, you kind of get it, right? Okay, yeah, it's local. You don't want a whole bunch of competition. You don't want they'll let 2 people in that do the same thing, but after that, they're like, okay, we it has to be worth it. You can't have everybody competing at the same market or it's not worth anybody's time, right? Give me 1 second. I don't want to blow my nose on camera. I will be right Okay, sorry about that. No point in continuing, the sniffles and whatnot. Steve says he uses a low sodium soy sauce too. We're trying to keep our sodium down for blood pressure and whatnot. So it would have been a good one to go look at. I guess I could have explored the soy sauce guy more, that product, as well as the beet salsa that Marianne pointed out. Man, I kind of wish we had gotten that. We did get one thing that was really cool at this market. We try to support other vendors just like some come support us, right? A lot of people at other markets did a lot of their Christmas shopping with Paula because they know what a good deal she's giving, right? So they will, sometimes a lot of her revenues come from these other vendors that are like, oh, I'm going to come do my Christmas shopping with you because this is the cheapest you ever see these things. But we try not to go crazy because we don't want to make it where you spend all the money that Paula's making. um but at the same time, it's nice to support other people doing the same thing. If the price is right and it's something you need or want, right? That fits you. So, anyways, I did get one Christmas gift for my niece that when I go back down in February, I mailed one, but I was like, it's a book, so I'm gonna get one more thing so that when I show up, she's a little kid and nice to give her a present. So that's one. Spent $15 or something Canadian, and then the other one was, you guys know, sea turtles are kind of our thing. When we were in Quartzsite, Paula bought at a market a little turtle and she gave it to me. It was probably not a whole lot, but I don't even know if we were dating yet or it was right after we were dating, started dating or something like that. And at some point, I was like, remember this? I still have this. And she forgot, what's that from? When did I give that to you? Type of thing. Anyways, and then when we got married and once all our guests left, a lot of our time snorkeling, we were just out there with sea turtles. And a lot of the places we have gone, we bought very small little sea turtles. So sea turtles are kind of our thing. Anyways, there were these stepping stones, solid stepping stones, and I mean like this big, and they were sea turtles for $20 Canadian, right? So $15 US. And they're colorful. They've got one color. So we thought about getting two or three. We were like, they're $20 each. And I did ask, would you do three for 50? Because we were thinking maybe three of them for steps to the shed. Because right now it's kind of, if it rains, it gets kind of muddy. And so that would have been cool. They're like, no, we really can't because we'll probably get close to selling most of them. So it's like, okay, we did get one. Because we're like, well, we could get one or two at the 20 price. It's a fair price, quite frankly. Well, we weren't going to spend $60, I guess. But so we ended up getting one, and we'll either put it down as a stepping stone or just ornamental against the fence, against the shed that where people can see it because it's actually pretty. So I don't know if we'll actually use it as a stepping stone since we only got one. But with you guys have seen, I think in some of the videos, Paula loves doing the gardening, and now that we got the fence, we'll probably go crazy in the yard next year with flowers and all sorts of stuff. So now we got a nice turquoise big sea turtle to kind of spice things up and add some color and yeah, as sea turtles are kind of our thing now. So let's see here. Scrolling, I think let me get back here. Okay, that's where I was at. It scrolled on me. Sorry about that. Freezing at 71 degrees. I've got some words for you, mister. Uh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's always frustrating when you realize something goes wrong, but at the same time, when I do those, I don't really have high expectations either. It's kind of nice to, if you guys want to watch, share. Hey, this is real time. This is what I'm dressed up as a Grinch because Paula brought a onesie and she dressed up too. So let's do it. And let's talk about that costume a little bit. I mean, it was fun. I I don't know. Some people like kids at some point if they didn't see like the green legs or whatever, they thought I was Santa. And I think somebody asked what happened to your beard because they thought I was Santa. I was like, no, I'm the Grinch. Well, I didn't have green face paint or something, right? In the nose and all of that. Uh, Early on, I was kind of worried because one thing I will do as we have those car diffusers, and one of the more popular ones is a Fruit Loop smell. And so some of the other markets, when it's kind of slow, if you see a kid, and a family or whatever, you'll say, "Hey, you want to guess what this is?" Because it gives the kids something to do, and the parents don't want to just move by necessarily. A lot of them, we've had success. Hey, does that smell familiar? Can you tell me what that is? A lot of them can't tell you. They can't think of it. But then you tell them, oh yeah, and then the parents will kind of, have the opening to come in and look and whatnot. So I tried that. This family coming down, and I see a little kid and say, "Hey, do you want to guess what this smell is?" I don't even think about. I'm dressed as the Grinch, and she looked like, "What? Why is this funny man talking to me? Stranger danger type of thing." Oh, I'm sorry. I won't make you. You guys have a great day. I'm sorry about that. That was the first experience at this market. Now, other ones later, there was two kind of crazy ones. Like a lot of the kids, if people were in the booth, we had some interesting times with that. I can explain some of the changes we made on the fly because we did, I guess, set up in the best way at first. But I so we moved the table forward. Once we did that, the inside was a little bit small, so I tried to get out of the way. If people were in there, I just walk away. Paula's got it. She can explain all the stuff. She does it, right? She makes it. So I'd walk away, and then I'd kind of stand off. And some people would joke, "What are you, security?" I'm just staying out of the way. But while I was doing that, you get these little kids look at you and be like, "This looks familiar." And at one point, this little boy's waving at me like, and then eventually, I kind of, and the parents aren't looking. So I'm like, I don't want to be a creepy dude dressed up in a weird suit or whatever at a Christmas thing. But I go like, okay. And then he goes, "Hi!" And then his parents turn around, like, okay, hi. And then his sister starts saying hi and all this. So some of the kids did enjoy it. You know, I'm not going up to them obviously, but one of the other weird ones was I went off around and buying some coffee on the other side of this expo center or whatever, and I'm waiting in line, third or fourth in line, and this, I don't know, 25-year-old girl comes running up like, "Oh my gosh." Oh my god. Oh, "Where did you get your Grinch suit? I'm obsessed with the Grinch. I've not seen this. I love it." And I had to be like, uh, "My wife bought it for me. I'm just playing along. I'm sorry. I have no idea where she got it. I think it was in Regina, but I can't tell you. My wife bought it for me. So go. She's the candle vendor over there. Go talk to her. She might tell you." But it's interesting, right? You dress up, you take a chance. We were having fun with it. Uh, some good reactions, some not so good. So, uh, Kobe, what are we doing here? Scrolling down. Oh yeah, I keep going off on tangents. I apologize. I seriously need to work on my hours. If that's the case, I didn't get blah blah blah. Since I'm not at the college, I dropped off almost 4,000 to only like 300. 300. Yeah, you're in trouble if you're at 300. I think I'm at 3,300. But my problem is for a long time that one hernia video really got me all the hours and I didn't have to worry about it too much. Well, that's really tapered off. So I've got to, keep up with it a little bit. I do have to put the business first. I've said that many times. But yeah. Audio went out on the flip. Yep, I figured that out. Figured it. That's what you do. Oh, yeah, And then it froze on the guy though, and then went back. Okay. So yeah, I must have lost service, and maybe that's why it cut out. I kept going, and it was showing me that there were still 4 people in there by the time I noticed the audio went out because it's so small in the corner. The other thing, guys, okay, so here's news. If you weren't in that live stream, I now have glasses. Apparently, I'm blind when I'm far away. So right now, my work is at these computer screens, or if I'm looking at my phone, I see just fine. But it's gotten where if I look at my phone too much and then try to watch TV, it's all blurry, right? So when I'm walking around at that expo, so that I don't run into people, I had the glasses on. So if you're watching the live stream, you realize, oh, Nate's wearing glasses. What's going on? I don't think I mentioned it. Well, I'm doing a live on a tiny phone, and down here the comments are real small. So now with the glasses on, I can't see the phone that well. So it's going to make any of those a lot harder for me to do. I now see why people do have bifocals, right? I might have to look into that someday, but luckily it's not a Canadian healthcare thing, but under Paula's healthcare, I didn't have to pay anything for the glasses, although I didn't go anything crazy expensive either. So, um, appreciate you watching the replay, Kyle. Hopefully, I don't know, they're kind of fun to do. We did one at the farmers market earlier this year, and now of course we shouted that out as a promotion for the farmers market, so it got more views than this one will. But it's fun to walk around. It still feels a little bit weird, especially when you're dressed up. There's already a lot of eyes. I can't tell you on Saturday when I was dressed up, not as a gremlin, as a Grinch. How many people, as you're kind of walking around and looking, and as you turn your head, all of their eyeballs, you see them dart away from you, right? Because they're looking at you, but then they don't want to be caught staring. But now you just got caught going like this type of thing. It's kind of fun, but it's also kind of makes you feel kind of like, I know people are watching. You're not hiding anything. Just look at me, say hi or smile or something. I don't know. Corey now runs a shop somewhere else in Regina. Okay. Okay. Paula and Tracy are gonna talk about that. Hey Mike, how's it going? Mike, Mike has done some of these music things, and I've actually purchased for work for the business. I did buy a license for one of those AI music things, and it's kind of fun. It's one of those things where AI isn't creepy, right? Um, where you can say, okay, I want this type of music, and I want to do it for Community Reinvestment Act stuff, and so I'm working on a video. I may have already shared this, but I've got the song. I like the song it made for me, but the music video part is crap. So I'm trying to redo the video part, but I like the song, and then give it out to where banks can go and use that when they go into nursing homes to sing, but also sing to the nursing home folks, but also be doing financial education basically under the Community Reinvestment Act, so that the bank gets credit and so that they can justify sending employees with the time, right? So you're kind of, it's not a loophole. It's just making sure that everybody's getting what they need, right? Anyways, I still got to work on that. Uh, I've done some of the work. She started about, okay, that's something else about the market for Paula, I believe. Kobe says, Mike! Oh, yeah, you guys went and got Pizza Hut to get. 1 second. I got to have a little wine just to help my throat here. Still working on all Paula's wine that she makes. I always have it during you guys, the live streams with you guys. I realized I didn't have water with me, so I only have the wine. Scrolling. It's 9 there. 8 here. You're in Iowa though, aren't you? I thought your time zone would be the same as ours now. Saskatchewan's kind of weird, but Nate just got friend zoned. I missed something. Scrolling. It was fun to dress up, and you know what? The fact that we were both dressed up made it acceptable for me to be the. I keep wanting to say Gremlin, the Grinch. I thought more people would be dressed up. Now today we didn't dress up as much again, but we have our Santa hats or whatnot. And the other fun thing. Okay, a couple more things about the market. So the very first thing that we learned, we're in a bigger expo, and Paula's got these tents or whatever that she was doing all these lights and garland around to make it real fancy and draw people in. But now we're inside and we still have the top on. So what we learned is it made it look too dark inside, so people couldn't see. They didn't necessarily want to come in. So the first hour and a half, I think we could have done better. But Paula was eventually like, let's take the top off and see what changes. So that was a little bit of a, redoing your booth while especially it was relatively busy at that time. And we're trying to tear it down. So of course people aren't coming in at that point for the 15 minutes or whatever. And of course our friends at the bakery, Brandon, the husband, came over and helped us do that as well. So another great thing to have people that know you and willing to jump in when they see you need help. But yeah, it looked a lot better once we took the top off of the tent because we're inside. So now people could see. So that was number one lesson that we learned. Now I forget the second part. Fun to dress up, and I might think about it in a little bit because now I can't remember what my second point was. Had a family come in dressed up like the Grinch yesterday. I don't know. The Grinch is kind of a thing now, huh? Stranger danger. Yeah, that's the one I felt like. Like, I don't know. As an adult male, don't creep people out with kids, but at the same time, I don't know. You when it's acceptable, you do that and have them smell the Fruit Loops, and then other times it's like, just run away, right? I like to think that I can't be stranger danger too, but if they don't know you, then you can, and that in today's society where you just don't know and crazy things happen that we wish didn't. It's a thing. When I coached softball, I was worried about that. My mom was very worried about it. Like, people get accused of things. Just be careful if you want to help. You want to help, but unfortunately, when you help, you've also got to keep that in the mind. Like, could things go weird? So when I years ago helped coach softball, when I don't have a kid on the team, but I'm helping my friend who's got kids, what is everybody going to think? I was very clear with my friend. The parents have to be okay with it. I'll meet them, I'll talk to them, and luckily they all were, and they loved me, right? But in today's day and age, you just never know. And there was one time before when I was selling my house and going on the road, and I was scruffy and maybe I wasn't clean cut enough. I remember going to one of the, not a Camping World, but one of those REI type places, and I don't remember what I was looking for, but I didn't find what I was looking for the trailer. And I had been walking around the store, probably slowly trying to find this. I'm looking at my phone or whatever, and I didn't find it. So then I'm walking back to my car kind of slowly, but then I'm also trying to look on my phone about where I'm going to go next. And I stopped and I'm trying to plug in directions. I figured out where I want to go next. I'm plugging on my phone before I get to my car. And this lady who I hadn't even realized was in front of me turned around and goes, "Why are you following me?" And I look out, look, I'm trying to go to my car. It's right there. I hadn't even realized this person at any point was around me, and she goes running off. I don't know if she called the cops or what. I just went to my car and left. But you just never know, right? Like, even though you're not that guy, other people don't know you're not that guy. And if you're scruffy and not as clean shaven as what they expect, and I don't know, who knows? But you do have to kind of, unfortunately, keep that in the back of your head of not only you're a good person, but how others perceive you, unfortunately. Anyways. Oh my goodness, that young girl is hitting on you because I can tell you nobody came and asked me about your Grinch suit. No, she was like, I'm obsessed with the suit, and she really just wanted to know where it was, and she left right when my wife bought it. So maybe it's because I said my wife. I don't know. I do have my ring though, so now everybody's laughing. How far behind am I? Oh my goodness, I'm 10 minutes behind. Okay, let's catch up. Yeah, now Kobe's like, I heard my wife. Hey, maybe that's why I just got my wife got it for me, guys. uh, have a had a chat in a circle of death on your live. Oh, okay. It must have crapped out. I don't. We're also indoors, so maybe my signal gave out. Yeah, right, like 30 seconds ago. I didn't realize I was as behind as I was. I thought I was doing good. Hey, Ron, how's it going? 10 minutes later. Uh, oh, this is good. Bifocals drive me crazy. I prefer reading glasses for computer work. The weird thing, though, is I'm sitting here. I see fine. I see three monitors. I can see up here stuff that I got printed out from my wall. It's the up close stuff isn't the problem. It's the far away stuff. And I knew, like, I lost my sight a while ago before you guys knew me. You guys always knew me without glasses because I had LASIK. But when I had started with the FDIC, and within a year, when I'm staring at the computer screens all day, I quickly realized I can't see while I'm driving. Or when I went out to DC, I can remember a training course where they sat me in the back of the room. I can't see anything on that screen. And they were like, well, maybe you should get glasses. They didn't move me. Big help. But no, I've been through it before. So when I started to realize I can't read signs as far as a way as I should be able to, I knew. And so yeah. So it didn't get as bad as it did the first time, but my problem is seeing far away. So we're driving this weekend up to Regina, and Paula has always seen she's always, I don't want to say paranoid, but very aware of animals that are running towards the road or in the fields or whatnot. And she always sees them. And I thought, okay, thanks for pointing it out. Because I don't, I look at the road, I have somewhat tunnel vision. But to be honest, I couldn't see the fields that well, right? So I wasn't going to be able to see that deer's out there. She'd point it out, and I'd squint, and okay, I see something blurry out there. Well, yeah, now I'm driving. I'm like, do, 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 and I'm looking around like, whoa, I can see stuff from really far away now. And I'm the one pointing out the deer in the field. That was bizarre to me. I saw them before she did. Yeah, I needed the glasses. Oh well. The only thing that I got to figure out that I didn't think about when I got them, one of them, I don't really like them, but whatever. I don't. It's just for driving or I guess watching TV at night or whatnot. Because I don't need it for most of my day. Most of my day is right here with these three monitors doing work. But yeah, when we're out in the sun, I used to have those not progressive transition lenses. I didn't like them, but when you're going from indoors to outdoors, you don't get blinded, right? They're also sunglasses basically. They transition too slowly. They look ridiculous when you go from outside to inside and somebody sees you and you got these dark things if you ever take a picture. But yeah, right now I don't have a sunglasses solution that's also, excuse me, going to help me see far away. Okay, we're on the same time zone then. That's what I thought, Marianne. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, those are big, between each other. Scrolling. Kobe wants to try the wine. Have to come to Saskatchewan. Actually, I think I have finally gotten close to the very bottom of the first bottle over the 1 year now or whatever it is. Having a glass or two with live streams. Yeah, it doesn't go very fast. She's not been making anymore. Then again, she would only do it during summer when berries are cheap, right? She probably will. I don't know. I still don't know how she makes the wine. I don't know how she makes the candles. I don't know how she makes the wine. I just enjoy, I don't need to know all the secrets. Kyle says shots. I don't have any shots. Let's see here. Scrolling. If I missed something, am I caught up yet? I'm trying to get caught up here. By the way, I don't think Nate's gonna be here. I forgot to go look at Facebook. Okay, yeah, I still don't see him. I think he's off having fun in a warm location. Oh wait, what was that popped up? I don't know. I don't see a message from him though. That's a good thing probably because I wasn't watching very closely. Uh, let's see. Scroll. Let's. Hi, Stacy. Sorry if I missed somebody. Got kids on each arm. Who's Stacy? Did I somebody in here named Stacy now that I don't know about? Oh, everybody's playing bingo. Scrolling. Okay, scrolling. You guys start playing bingo. I gotta scroll. We got 15 people in here, and I don't even have the interview that we were planning. We're just talking about he's gonna have to scroll back up. I just scrolled down. I don't want to scroll back up. If there's something I missed, type it back in. I'm trying to catch up here. You'll never be caught up. Yeah, I am. Look, poor Nate has probably been sitting in the dungeon for the last half hour. I'm here. I am right here. You just sent that. 803 and it's 804. All right. I know I probably missed something, but you guys know the routine. I have learned just keep scrolling, do it a little bit quicker. I did see something about Stranger Danger. uh Vikings, Cowboys. I think they're both pretty much out of it. I'm always happy to root against the Cowboys, quite frankly. Now, before I met, it was actually just a little bit before I met Paula, when I think it was the town that I broke down in. And we were telling people the story, right, at the market about how she couldn't get the AMBO started. And I was broke down in Texas. Neither of us knew at that time if we don't get to Q, you will not meet the love of your life, right? We still both wanted to get there. She got her AMBO started. And I did eventually find out that the engine did not need to be rebuilt and they replaced the oil cap and whatnot. You guys know the story. But part of that week I was down in Texas, and if you guys remember, the Cowboys were playing the 49ers. And I'm in this small Texas town and not in the big cities, more towards the west where you probably got to be a little bit more careful. Quietly watching the game, and it had a weird ending that was very unfortunate for the Cowboys, not for me. And I'm sitting in this bar, stranded in a town. I didn't know I could get out yet. Like, I got to keep my mouth shut, cover your mouth, don't look happy, quietly exit the bar because I wanted to go and I can watch the game live. No, a lot of the times when I was traveling, I'd either watch some of these there's streams where they're watching the lives and kind of telling you, but you don't get to see the game because of copyright stuff, right? So if it was a regular game, I'd go in and watch, kind of follow the 49ers at times, watching a YouTube about the game. But with the playoffs, and especially when you're playing the Texas team and you're in Texas, but you got to be careful about that. And so I did leave that Cowboys game, but I'm always happy to root against the Cowboys, even outside of that. Now 49ers and Cowboys have a lot of history. Back in the 80s, those were the two teams, and it's like whoever won that game in the NFC whatever championship game usually won the Super Bowl type of stuff. Back in Emmitt Smith, I can remember Emmitt Smith running right over us, and it was frustrating. So yeah, I'm more than happy to root against the Cowboys, but I don't know. I I know they're not out of it yet, but I don't suspect they have too much of a chance. But yeah, I'm not a danger. I'm just strange. I like that. Oh, I love you too. You know that. The love of my life. I probably it's interesting because nobody, like when we go to these markets, they don't know that Paula and I do YouTube. We're not like huge around here, quite frankly. We kind of keep it quiet. We're happy for the random people all over the place, but we don't necessarily want everybody in the town we live in to necessarily know that we're live. Now there are people out there locally, Travis and Christian obviously up in Regina, and some people locally here in town. Although I haven't seen them in here recently, that no. But we don't go spreading it all around town like we're the local YouTube people, right? Uh, so most people don't know. So it's interesting talking to people, and it usually came up because I had to ask extra questions like, okay, you said this town, where is that? I'm originally from the States. I apologize. And then it kind of flowed into explaining the whole story. And we had next to us was a tattoo booth, right? So we were two from the end. Next to us before the end was they had tattoos and two beds for tattoos, and people go to this show and they pay a lot of money for these tattoos, but you didn't need an appointment, which might people might struggle with because you gotta there a lot of times they're booked out, right? Anyways, I guess I didn't hear this one, but yeah, I guess one of the tattoo artists overheard a conversation either from Paul. I think Paula was having it about how we met, or maybe we were talking to the lady on the other side. I do know we shared the story with her. Uh, and so maybe they overheard that one. I don't know. But one of the tattoo artists said that's a really cool story. And one of the guys I was talking to very early this morning, like that's like movie type stuff. I was like, I know, I know, it's weird, but that's my life, so it's a good thing. But anyways, y'all took the big doormat magnets off your YouTube channel. Now, Paula still has, I think, on the ambo, but we don't have the ambulance sitting out front anymore. It's not a secret though either. Take out a billboard. I mean, they would probably very much follow because they're very supportive. But at the same time, part of that is, Paula works in an area that requires some confidentiality. We don't necessarily want that, right? We're more than happy to kind of be incognito locally with that. We don't hide it, but yeah, not everybody needs to know. I think over the years, especially at some of these markets, it's interesting because people will come up and be like, "Are you still?" First of all, you're still here because they haven't seen her in a while because of COVID and all of that. Are you still doing that van life thing? And she'll be like, yeah, here's my husband that I met from. So, but she wouldn't even realize some of the people that asked her that she didn't realize would actually follow her on YouTube and kind of, followed the story, right? And then, well, she hasn't done a whole lot of YouTube over the last couple of years. But yeah, we go to the markets, a lot of people that know who she is will ask her that question and she'll look at me like, I didn't know like that person knew that. Like I didn't know they followed the YouTube channel because a lot of people don't comment, right? So you just never know. We're not going till midnight. Oh my goodness, it's already 8:10. And we started later. And I will be honest, we were both exhausted starting to drive home. So yeah, we're gonna tomorrow I told Paul, I'm like, I'm probably I might set an alarm, but I'm going to set it an hour or so later. I know tomorrow is not going to be a super productive day. It's going to be a catch up day. I have started going back to the gym, not lifting yet. I won't lift till Wednesday, but I will slowly try to get, some muscles rebuilt back up, at least so I don't hurt myself. But I did start going back to the treadmill and stuff so I don't get too out of shape. I forget my point in that though. I forget. Let's see what else we got here. There's a few things we'll talk about. Then I'll shut this thing down because I didn't honestly plan to go longer than I didn't think I would. I didn't think I had the energy left. We're not doing it. We're not doing midnight unless we do 24 hours. Should we just do a 24-hour live stream? Where's Mike? Mike, you want to do a 24-hour live stream? I'm kidding. Paul will kill me. Nate, stickers still in truck stop stalls across the U.S. Now, that was the best promotion I ever had. You put it in front of the urinals, and they're like, okay, one hand. No, I better be careful what I say now. No, but you know what? If there's YouTubers out there that target the trucker audience, they're stuck in truck stops. They probably do watch a lot of YouTube, right? But yeah, for the ladies out there, yeah, there's all sorts of, when you go into those truck stops and you're standing at the urinal, they have all those advertisements right there. I probably thought, I never did, but I wonder how much those are. Because yeah, they like travel and all of that. Way stop at the 24 hours. Mike's like, we're not doing 24 hours again. We'll put the billboard money towards the 24-hour live stream. Nate suggested it, not me. Yeah, we're not. He knows we're not. I still got all the stickers all over Baja. I've still got a box of stickers from Land Cloud Adventures. Dallas is over there looking at me like, what are you doing, Dad? Okay, what else do we got? We got cool weather. We got glasses. And okay, last thing I'm going to share, and I'm not going to share too much about this. So you guys know I'm starting my business, and it's really weird. So one of the, because when I didn't really plan it. It kind of worked out where there's some things with my employment. I wasn't going to sign on to what my previous employer wanted out of a new contract arrangement. So I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And unfortunately for him, now I'm competition for him. But part of that was I really was staying away from people that I knew he knew or were his clients, because I didn't want any perception of any of that type of thing where you're stealing clients and dealing with nonsense or drama over that. So I stay away from that. But because I am out of contract season, it's like, okay, I'm just going to build it up for the long term, although I don't know how quick I will get contracts in the short term. So part of that is this year I'm working on networking and meeting people outside of people that I've worked with before, so that I'm not necessarily poaching his clients or the perception of that. So if I see people on LinkedIn that I know he knows, I try to stay away unless it's through my normal stuff. I'm doing a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. The interesting thing is this last week, I don't know if LinkedIn why, but some of these people have been finding me, which is interesting. So I'm like, if you find me, all right, I will absolutely talk to you. So was it Thursday night, actually, one person who I know is very good at what I do, which isn't very common, but I knew the name, I've seen his work, and it came in relatively late. I look at Paul, I'm like, you're not going to believe this, and you don't know who this is, but this person just tried to connect with me, and I'm going to accept it. And I know I would love to work with this person and at least talk to them about maybe collaborating or what, because I know he's very good. He's better. I'm good at what I do. He's done it for maybe 10 more years. He is very good. Different regulator that he came from. And so I was like, I'm absolutely going to accept his connection invite, and I'm going to send him a message because he found me somehow. I don't know what triggered it or what. So the next morning, Friday morning, I wake up and I send him a message on LinkedIn, all like, I've seen your work. I know you're exceptional at what you're doing. Thank you so much for connecting. If you ever want to get on a call and talk about anything fair banking, collaboration opportunities, training opportunities, anything, I'd be happy. I'd be very happy to have that call. And within 10 minutes, I get a message back that says, hey, how about right now? Here's my number. He's like, I'm out driving around. I actually got nervous, like, no way. And I called him up and we had a good 25-minute call. Like I think we were both, I don't know. I think he knows my name from some, a client that I've worked with that he's also worked with, but I don't think he knows who I am and we've never met. So it was really exciting, but it was weird that he was just as excited to talk to me as I was excited to talk to him because he's had his own business for 10 years. He's been a speaker at some of the biggest conferences, especially this year. He got invited and was a speaker at one of the biggest conferences. So it was very exciting for me, but he was just as excited. We're going to talk again, and I don't know what's going to come of it, but it was bizarre. And then the weirder thing for that to happen once was kind of like I'm looking at Paul like I can't believe that just happened. I wanted to talk to this guy, but I haven't reached out. But he contacted me, so absolutely I'm going to talk to this guy. Um, and then I'm reading this book about a very nerdy book, if you will, about Community Reinvestment Act, and it's got stats and research and all this stuff. Very few people in the country would appreciate this book the way I do. And I've read it a lot when Paul's at markets and there's downtime or whatever, and I can focus for an hour or something. And the next day, the author of that book has added me. Now, as far as my business, what this guy does probably isn't going to help the business or anything. But 2 days in a row, very, very advanced, very smart people have found me on LinkedIn. And I don't know why. I wish I knew why because I keep doing it. I do it again. Let's do it again. But anyways, how often is it that you're reading a book, as nerdy as I am, I know I'm a very unique individual in this particular niche industry, and they connect with you. And I'll send them a message. That was Friday night or Saturday morning that came through. So I'm waiting till tomorrow or Tuesday, and I'll send him a message. I'm reading your book. I don't know how you found me, but thank you for connecting, type of thing. So it was a very exciting end of the week. Who knows what will come from it? But very bizarre. I don't know how they're finding me on LinkedIn. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, but yeah, I am very happy that they found me. They probably will know how excited I am. I work in such a specialized part of banking. It's very easy just to say banking compliance, but it's even a more niche where my expertise is. And you get into that specialized niche and people that are actually really good at it, very few and far between. And back-to-back days, very good, very niche, found me. And I'm still kind of I'm loving it, but I still don't know how it happened. But anyways, Tracy says if they find you, it's fair game. Yeah, right. Yeah, I've been very careful with it, documenting how I'm contacted or how connections are made and that type of thing, just because of perception type of stuff. But anyways, hey, there's Lily. Lily, I did recognize that you were first in the house. Other people, Kobe, sorry, Kobe was trying to claim it. I saw Lily was first in the. I don't know if there was somebody else the other night, but I did see Lily was first in the house. Good to see you, Lily. Congratulations on the Seahawks win today. Now, that was one of their tougher games that they had left. I may have been secretly kind of hoping because of the 49ers, but they beat the Colts. I don't know if the Colts looked like they were one of the better teams, but they hadn't played very good teams if you looked at their schedule. So I think the Colts were kind of fakers. We'll find out. They play the 49ers next week, so that will be very telling. And of course, Seahawks and 49ers, we're going to have that game, the last game of the season. It's going to be really shaping up to be an interesting one, right? But even if we lose, at least I know Lily, who's a Seahawks fan, and I can be happy for her, and it makes it all a little bit better, right? So, anyways, let's see here. If you can't tell, Lily, I've been super excited, super well behaved during tonight's live stream. You well behaved? That's like me trying to claim that. Let's see here. Yeah, it's bizarre. And I have done a lot of work on LinkedIn because, and when I talked to the guy, I said, look, I would love to like have success right away, but I am, and I told him, I said, and I'm not shy about it. My goal we would like Paula to be able to retire in 5 years. So my goal is I would like Paula to be able to retire, my business to pick up where I can pay for a lot and carry a good share, and Paula can retire. She can do candles, diffusers, whatever she wants to do, and we can travel. And I told him that's the first part of the goal. I want control of my schedule and what I work on. There's certain parts of my work that I'm more passionate about than others. So starting my business, I can focus on the part that I love, I like to wake up to and do and analyze and all that stuff. But yeah, it's just bizarre that two very good people that I just happen to know who they are, and I happen to be reading one of their books. My head's still spinning. I don't know if I'll ever figure out how, but I thought you were saying it was dirty, not nerdy. You got some Q-tips upstairs, Paula. I hear her walking across now. I don't know. I don't think she's going and getting her ears clean, but good. Yeah, good thing you think smart is sexy, right? I was like, I could probably get these off here. I don't need to. You guys already know I'm a nerd. A first and 12 millionth, right? Oh my goodness. Hey Diane, how's it going? Yeah, okay, yeah. So let's talk about this game. I'm not an NFL expert or anything, but hey, we do these on Sundays. It naturally comes up. Steelers Dolphins tomorrow. Again, I mostly watch just 49ers, and I don't even watch every game. I try to watch highlights or whatever. The Steelers, I'm trying to think. Baltimore, right, is the other team in the division who could get the Steelers out of the playoffs if that would be their threat. Steelers are relatively average. I think, are they 500 right now? Dolphins 5 weeks ago, I would have said it was a give me game for the Steelers. But the Steelers seem, just watching the box scores, seem to not really want to really secure their spot in the playoffs. And what if the Dolphins won 5 or 6 in a row? They went from the basement of the NFL to now they're hot. I don't think they can get in because they've got what, Buffalo and New England in their division. I don't think they're gonna get in the playoffs. Um, but could they cause the Steelers problems? And the Steelers need every win at this point. So that is an interesting one. Um, yeah. I don't have a guess on who's gonna win that, but it was last week that I noticed the Dolphins used to earlier in the season. I was like, yeah, terrible team, losing every game. I think they had a one win for a while. Kind of like the Saints. The Saints beat the Panthers today, and they won last week. And the Panthers should have wanted to win because the Bucks just lost. That was their opening, and they let the Saints beat them. So I don't know what's going on. I don't think anybody's taking any of the games for a given. We played the Titans today, which is like the bottom of the NFL, and luckily we got through it and didn't screw it up. But yeah, ah, what was that, Kobe? What was that? I didn't actually see that till now. All right, guys, it has been a long weekend. I'm already gonna be sleeping in tomorrow, so I'm gonna go ahead, close this thing down. Thank you so much. I don't know. I will reach out to Nate. We might get him back on. I think he's out on another adventure, on another trip, and yeah, we were trying to wait till he was off the road, and I think he kind of went back on the road. So we didn't expect that, but you know what? That good for him. So I'm not even mad. We'll see if he wants to come on. Otherwise, we might show some pictures. But scrolling on down real quick. Now, I have to laugh. Diane says Dolphins are 6-7 on the season. I only laugh because the kids these days say 6-7 for no reason. It's like a thing that's not a thing. So I just saw that comment. I was like, oh, now 6-7 is showing up on my live streams, but unintentionally. But all right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Remember, Ava is on in the morning. A great way to start your week. Coffee with Ava. I think she's 8 o'clock Central, and then Steve comes on hour or two afterwards as well. Another great live stream on your Mondays. If you want to start your week out right and you're able to watch YouTube on during your mornings, be sure to check out Ava with Ava Potterfield and friends, and Steve with, oh my goodness, I'm going to forget the channel name. Can I scroll up quick enough? You guys know Steve. What Desert Adventures in Arizona, right? When I think Steve, I think of scooping all the sunshine off his stoop. That's my first thought because it's so funny. All right, guys, I'm out of here. You guys have a wonderful week. We will see you next Sunday. Bye.